feeds Pelosi. Off the wall to Harris. Harris has got Pelosi. Harris to Pelosi. Shot. He scores! Chris Pelosi!
And Poitras trying to drive in on that right wing side. Poitras in. Scores! Matt Poitras in overtime.
Billis took it right off his stick. Sends one through. They score! First career goal for the Bruins draft pick, Donald Billis. Back to the blue line. Cowan has it, looking for the return feed. Cowan lets it go back to the point. Shot!
Eagles were without all of their World Junior guys for that against Simon Fraser. BC played him Sunday. Good pass ahead. There's Yelvik. He scores! Didn't need an exhibition.
Will come up with it. Rochefort flips it out to center. Now McKinney gets chased with Harrison. Harrison to the backhand. Score! A deft touch.
Watch out. Nelson steals. Walks in. Scores! 6-2. Jackson Nelson has the hat-trick.
Crosby in line. Dula wins that back. Now he's going to waltz it.
Welcome in, folks, for another episode of Dom.Hockey The Podcast. I am joined, as always, by my esteemed co-host, the one and only, the writer of Dom.Hockey himself, Dom Tiano. Dom, how are you today?
Oh, so busy, Chris. The OHL season is over. I'll now be in a rink 4 nights a week, doing the playoffs, got all the draft stuff to do. I'm on a 52-day writing streak on my OHL site. Just before we came on, I was compiling all the stats for the season. It's just never ending. I don't know why I do this because I don't get paid for it.
You do it because it's fun, and we love you for it. So that's why. And you enjoy it. At least sometimes.
Yeah.
So, the good news, though, is we don't have as much to go through on the prospect side because so many players didn't have games because they're awaiting results, or now we know what those results are of a tournament draw, and it gives us a couple minutes to discuss something from after our show last night. And Otis brings it up. The Swayman almost fight from last night, and then Zadorov's press conference or his comments after the fact. What do you think about all that stuff that was going on?
I got a text message from someone today asking me if Zadorov is a problem in the room. He's now on his 5th NHL team. And
Right, yeah.
I can tell you that going back to his OHL days, he was at that time the most popular guy in the room. Everybody loved him.
I gotta ask. You're saying up there people are asking if Zadorov's the problem in the locker room? Because down here the narrative is that Swayman's the problem in the locker room.
No. I got a text asking me if Zadorov was.
Okay, so it's just that one particular person.
Yeah, and I have not heard anything about him being a problem in the room. Only the exact opposite. So, what do I make of it? Here's what I make out of it. Everybody's frustrated. The team is nowhere near what was expected. So frustration leads to sometimes things being said that probably aren't meant, especially after a bad loss like last night.
Yeah.
Zadorov is on the team to handle those situations like that. And I think what he is saying to Swayman in a roundabout way is, I'm here to take care of that shit. You go do your job.
Right. When I first heard the comments, because I saw the interview air on Nesson right after the game, and my
Yeah.
immediate thought was Zadorov even on the ice when that happened? And I went back and I looked, and he was on the bench. So based on how he answered the question from what I saw, the way the question was asked, what do you think of him doing this? He kind of reacted with, "Oh, is that what he was doing? I don't know. No comment." Like, he did not know what was going on that caused the whole thing. And obviously the interviews were happening right after the game, so the coaches and the team really didn't have a whole heck of a lot to converse and talk about that incident and kind of get matters handled in-house. And I think, to your point, some of it is also, that's what I'm here for. There'll be words said amongst the locker room, and I think somebody will say to Swayman, like, hey, that's not your job. Focus on your job. If the fight comes to you, you're more than welcome to handle it, but don't go chasing it down the other end of the rink.
Yeah.
That's not on you to do. And he's still a young player, young goaltender. So, and he's fairly frustrated on how his season has gone, dating all the way back into last offseason. I think some of it was just the adrenaline of wanting to get frustration out, just wanting to hit something. And it was an excuse to do that. And obviously it knocked him off his game. And, all you can do is hope he learns from it. And honestly, if he's going to have a moment like that, this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
I'm
not reading too much into it. It's like,
no. And I'm not putting anything into, any credence to there's a problem in the locker room or anything like that. There will be words had about, like you said, Zadorov, I'm here to do that. You don't have to worry about it. And, just kind of move on from there. If there is a problem in the locker room, I put that more on the coaching staff than anything. So anyway, like I said, Swayman's still a young player coming into his own. We've got other young players to talk about. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I wanted to tackle Andrew's question there.
Sure.
So, yeah, that was on HF boards. I commented on it, Andrew.
Mishka Donskov?
Donskov. So, as you know, I'm a big fan of Dale Hunter. I wish he'd take an NHL coaching job. I'm a fan of Dale Hunter, the coach, before anybody comes at me about he was a dirty player, blah, 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 blah. There's a separation between Dale Hunter, the player, and Dale Hunter, the coach. What he's done as a coach at the OHL level is remarkable. He even went in and saved the Washington Capitals for, what was it, half a season, Chris?
Right.
So Donskov spent, I believe it was 3 seasons as an assistant coach under Dale Hunter, being mentored. He went to Vegas, did a marvelous job with helping them set up the franchise, and behind the bench as an assistant. He joined Pete DeBauer and Steve Spott as an assistant coach in Dallas. And you got to remember, Spott at that time coached London's biggest rival at the time in Kitchener. So they coached against each other. Spott knew him well. There's the out of the blue, no ties to the organization type of thinking that they need to do when they go out and look for a new coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, and I know yesterday we talked a little bit about John Gruden, currently head coach of the Toronto Marlies right now, who's on the staff a couple years ago. So it's not like there's no prospects for coaching out there. I really think this is going to end up being a Don Sweeney pick as opposed to – because I really think the last time we've seen – Cam Neely meddle in things on Don Sweeney before.
Yeah.
And we know that the firing of Bruce Cassidy was not a Sweeney decision. It just not the actions didn't match the words that he said, 2 months earlier?
2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, it was only 2 weeks. I was thinking maybe a month, but it didn't match. So that came down from someone else. It's got to be Cam Neely or above.
It's going to be 4 coaches in 5 years, man. Something's got to give.
Yeah, and I do think, I know a lot of people are still on the Sweeney and Neely bandwagon of one of them or both of them have to go. They're the problem, et cetera, et cetera. But for now, for this upcoming offseason, there won't be any changes made.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, as far as those two.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. If fans make enough noise, Charlie Jacobs is going to have to listen. And they know what's being said. I guarantee you right now there's a member of the organization watching this show. I know it for a fact.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, I do think Don Sweeney, when he's had a chance to do his job unimpeded and uninterrupted, he's overall had more successes than not. And this is truly going to be his rebuild. Now, I think he's going to get it 1 year at a time, one leg of the trip at a time. Get through the offseason. Okay, free agency in the draft. Go into next season. Your next checkpoint is going to be going into the trade deadline. Where does the team stand at that point? Next deadline, he might have some of those restrictions in place. That way he's not dealing away first and futures for a new GM. But at this time, I think he's got full ability to do his job.
I still think that if there's enough noise made, ownership is going to listen. They may not fire Neely. They may move him to a different position. And if they bring a new president in, that new president's going to want his own GM. No one's going to take that job and come into the status quo. They're going to want to.
Oh, I agree.
So I'm of the opinion that anything can happen this offseason. I really do believe that now. And I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago.
I'm just not there on those two guys. I truly believe, and I know it goes against the popular opinion, but I truly believe that Sweeney is the right guy for this because he did pull the trigger on 3 deals that really people did not see coming because, it's especially the Brad Marchand deal. He pulled the trigger on that deal. And regardless of the reverberations of that deal, it was the right move. Now you can argue whether or not he got the right amount back for him or whatever, but Don Sweeney is well respected around the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
He would have a job tomorrow if he wanted one, if he was fired today. So
no doubt in my mind. But all I'm saying, Chris, it's not written in stone. If fans make enough noise, and I guarantee you the Boston Bruins are listening. Charlie Jacobs even said they listen. They are hearing. If there's enough, there will be a change.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying I think that's the wrong move because you can't cater to the fans like that.
Well, you have to cater to the fans. They're the ones. They're the ones paying the money.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is the fans don't the overall fandom does not get down to the level that we do when it comes to building the team and rebuilding a roster, and they hear simple things on talk radio and stuff like that, and they take it as gospel and run with it, and it's just not all educated and informed thought. So
No. I
that's why you come here, because we give you the
It's
educated and the informed thought. That's why this is the place to be.
I honestly, there's no guarantee either one will be back. None
No, there's no
whatsoever.
guarantee. I think they should be, though. Anyways,
It
we've
is,
got the prospects to go over. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, it's not a question of whether they should be or shouldn't be. It's a question of whether they will be or won't be. And all
Yeah.
I'm saying is enough noise and they will make the change.
Well, hopefully we can educate enough people that noise can start to dimmer down a little bit. I know people aren't entirely thrilled by some of what's going on, but again, overreactions get the wrong things done.
Yep.
So, and I know, and people see the prospect pool. That's why we are on here every week talking about these prospects, because they see our prospect pool ranked low in the league, but they don't truly understand what's in the system. So that's why we do this show every Monday night, so we can dive through all the prospects in the system. Let's start with the amateurs, as we normally do. What do you think?
Yeah, because we know where they'll be playing and when they'll be playing now. So in the NCAA tournament, we know who Loki Johansson will be playing in the playoffs starting this week. USHL still in the regular season. So let's start with UMass and Donslach Mellis. They'll be playing in the Fargo Regional against Minnesota. That will be Thursday night. Yes, Thursday night.
Thursday night or Thursday afternoon? I'm actually going to pull up the.
For me, it's Thursday night because I'll have to watch it in the evening.
Yes, it's on at 7:30.
Yeah, so I kind of think UMass is in tough on this one. I don't know, no predictions, but I think it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, none of the draws in the NCAA tournament look like they're going to be any easier than any of the other ones.
Well, there is one that looks easy. We'll get to that one next, but
okay, one. For the most part, they're all very evenly matched.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure once UMass is done, Loch Mellis will be heading over to Latvia and preparing for the World Championships. He may even be in the number one center position for Latvia. And I believe that tournament starts May 9th to the 23rd, if I have my dates correct. So I hope he has a couple more games in college, though, before that. But his season won't be over if they lose.
Yeah, and as Neil says, UMass was red hot to finish the year, which they absolutely were. And Minnesota's missing their top defenseman who's out for the season. So it does even things up a little bit, but that's still, it's still going to be a hell of a matchup. If there's one thing we know about the NCAA and it comes to hockey, all of these are going to be must-watch games. When it comes
we
to
saw
Loch
a
Mellis,
couple of great ones last week.
Oh my God,
right?
we did. Oh,
yeah.
Oh man. But when it comes to Loch Mellis, so far 30 points in 38 games for UMass. I really don't see him coming out until after maybe next year.
That's my opinion.
As I say, based on how that goes, he might be a full 4-year college kid. But based on the projection or based on the trajectory of how his freshman year went, now his sophomore year, junior year is a real heavy consideration to see him come out after, in my opinion.
Yep. Move on to BC.
BC,
So
we got
Boston,
3 guys over there.
yeah. Well, Gelvik won't be playing, from
Eh.
what I'm told. So,
So really 2, because Yelvik and Letourneau were counting as half a piece.
yeah. So, but I'm expecting something big out of Gasol. I don't know why, but I'm thinking he's going to have a big tournament. We'll see. They're playing in the Manchester Regional. They'll be facing Bentley. I think this is the one that's pretty much everybody would be betting on BC.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think this is BC is the heavy favorite in this one. They've got the 2:00 game on Friday. But man, that Friday slate is going to be great for Boston Bruins fans because you've
Yeah.
got guys at BC and then Quinnipiac and Providence who both play later in the day, and we'll get to them in a little while. James says, what are your impressions of Letourneau? Not one goal. Afraid Greentree will become another. Could have been like Wyatt Johnson or Kyle Connor. If you're writing off Dean Letourneau after a year in which he should be in the USHL and he's playing NCAA in season instead, you need to go back and watch every show that we've done since they drafted him. Because this year was never about numbers for Dean Letourneau. I don't give a shit that he didn't score a goal yet.
Neither do I.
Next year is Dean Letourneau's baseline season. Period. That's all it is. You can worry about anybody else in the draft and all that other stuff, but you lose focus on your own prospects when you start worrying about what other people are doing. Ryan says, would Dan's play at UMass next season or train with the Latvian team for the Olympics?
There's an interesting question. I think he will go to he will play with UMass, and then he'll join them for the Olympics. That's my guess.
I mean, he's got a lot of time with the Latvian team already, so it's not like he has to get used to skating with them.
Yeah, he's been playing with a lot of them for a long time. So, but it's an interesting question because that is an option for him, and he wouldn't lose his amateur status.
That's right. Yeah, he wouldn't. So, we'll have to see how that plays out. Imagine having to go to your teachers and say, I'm going to miss the next few weeks of class because I'm going to go play in the Olympics.
They'd be all for it.
Oh, I know they would. I'm just saying, imagine having that card to pull on your teachers.
Yeah.
So
let's move on to North Dakota and Jake Schmaltz. Their season came to an end when they lost 4-2 to Western Michigan in the NCHC semifinal on Friday. That means now that Schmaltz's NCAA career is over and he's looking to turn pro. I don't know how that's going to go. They could bring him in on an ATO in Providence to finish out the season with them and then decide. I'm at the point now where, find the Bruins, you just got to cut bait. There are so many players for him to jump over right now that it's A, not worth a contract spot, and B, not worth the time. Now watch, they'll come out and announce that they signed him as we're doing the show. But
I know, right?
Just my opinion.
Look, if you really, really think you have something in this kid, then you sign him to a two-way AHL, USHL contract. You let him play in Maine and you let him play in Providence. Start him out in Maine. Let him earn his way up to Providence. Let him earn his way up. Like, it's just one of those things where he hasn't done enough to say, I start on an even playing field as a normal ELC.
Yeah.
It's just not there. Now, I hope he can go out and do it. I'm not rooting for the kid to fail. It's just there's not enough from what we've seen. He's been in college for 4 years, and it just hasn't translated. So
No, at some point you have to know when to cut bait. I mean, you look at Mattias Mantakibbe put great numbers up in the Finnish league, but they thought, too many guys for him to jump over. They cut bait. Reed Dick, they had, at the time they had Allmark and Swayman, and they had Bussy and DiPietro. Plus, they had just brought in Ryan Bischel. It's like too many guys for him to jump on. We can't waste the time nor the contract spot. Let's cut bait.
yeah, I mean, and I know we've talked about it before. You can always circle back. The Bruins usually don't, but there's no reason not to. I know Mantakivvy's had another really good season over in was it Finland or was it Finland?
Finland.
For some reason, I thought it was Sweden, but no, he's had another good year over in Finland. And if you really start to need a center, you can revisit. But who's to say he didn't go to the Bruins and say, "Hey, look, I got a family thing going on. I really don't want to leave Finland. I'm just going to stay here and play out my career here."
Yeah, you don't know. So that's the way it is.
But they did sign a different 7th-round pick, who we'll get into later.
Yep. So Beckett Hendrickson, we already talked about. They'll be facing UMass in the Fargo Regional. We touched on that tournament.
Yep.
Quinnipiac, Chris Pelosi, Elliot Grunwald. Let's go back to last Friday night.
Oop.
They lost.
Did we lose you, Dom? Or...
No,
that was my internet. Okay.
Going back to Friday night, they lost 3-2 in overtime to Cornell, Ryan Walsh's team. So Cornell goes on to win the championship. But that means both teams will be in the NCAA tournament. Quinnipiac will face UConn in the Allentown Regional. Walsh and Cornell will face Michigan State in Toledo on Friday. But let's go back to that game on Friday night. We have highlights from it, beginning with Ryan Walsh putting Cornell up 1-0. There he is behind the net.
Power play thus far, first 30 seconds have been in the Quinnipiac end. Castania couldn't hold the puck. Ben Robertson now high slot. Wrister to Matej Mironov. Loose puck. Still loose. Still free. And it's in. Cornell opens the scoring, and it's Jonathan Castania.
He didn't score. He got an assist on it.
Yeah, he got the assist, but he also didn't all of that was going on.
It amazes me how he gets so open and stays open in front of the net like that. You play it again, Chris, because he takes a hit.
Power play thus far, first 30 seconds.
I mean, he's in front of the net starting now, and he doesn't leave the slot right in front of the goaltender until now.
Still loose, still free, and it's in.
And he is taking on 4. He's got 4 guys surrounding him. Once they figured out that he's there, they wouldn't leave him alone. They hovered around him.
Bad look for Quinnipiac when all 4 of your defenders are on their hands and knees and your goaltender can't find the puck.
He just helped create a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, so we have Pelosi's goal that put Quinnipiac up 2-1.
Yes, this was the 2-1 goal. So he's circled here in the corner of the offensive zone, far corner.
Terneski in air. Shot in, free, Pelosi, goal! Bobcats lead with 5:20 to play. It just takes one moment, Pierre.
Key moment, too.
Yeah, it's 5:18 left. They're up 2-1. You think Cornell's dead? They down a man. 139 left. And tie it. Shorthanded goal. This isn't the shorthanded goal. This is
the one that makes it 2-1 from Pelosi.
yeah.
So the next one I have is
the overtime
OT winner on
goal.
Friday. Yeah.
So Walsh sets that one up.
Which we got right here. So you got him highlighted in the corner as well.
Brand Pecknell Water on the Quinnipiac side of things.
And keeping that
Number 14.
in this half of the ice, the safest place it can be. But Dalton Bancroft, fake shot, score! Tim Rigo sends the Big Red into the championship game.
And that was to get him into the ECAC final.
Right, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, Walsh fed it to Bancroft, who fed it to, I forget who it was that scored. Dalton Bancroft is a guy that the Bruins have expressed interest in. He's a free agent right now, so keep an eye out on that. Just some stats from that Friday night game. So Pelosi was 5 for 17 on the dot, 23 minutes and 40 seconds time on ice. The one I really want to talk about, +1, is Elliot Gronwald. This is his 18-year-old season, a true freshman. Time on ice, 27 minutes and 13 seconds. Do you think the Bruins moving up to get him in the draft was the right move?
I would say yes so far.
Yeah, based on what he's done this season, yeah, I would think so. So, Walsh in that game had the 2 assists, 6 shots on net, 14 for 26 on the dot, 25-20 time on ice. A forward. He eats a lot of minutes as a forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, Quinnipiac plays UConn on Friday in the Allentown Regional. I don't know who I'd like in this game. What do you think?
I mean, it's really tough to pick against Quinnipiac, but UConn has been playing so well as of late. It's so tough. If I had to pick, I would probably
If you had to bet.
I would probably
think
put
so?
my money on Quinnipiac. But, I mean, after watching the games that we saw last week, desperation mode kicks in and you know.
Yeah, the Bruins got 9 prospects playing in this tournament.
Oh, but none of them went to World Juniors, so, big
Right.
problem.
So, Neil's got an interesting question.
Yeah, I was going to wait till we got to Zellers to pull it up. But I know Zellers
Okay.
is coming up on our list.
Well, let's leave it till then. We'll touch on
We'll
it.
get through our Moncton and Dubuque guys first.
Yeah. So back to Walsh on Sunday. They faced Clarkson, and I really thought Clarkson was going to win this one. So they were up 2-1. Walsh scores a goal with 1:49 remaining into an empty net. kind of a controversial goal. Yeah, might as well just play it, Chris. Unfortunately, I didn't go back
Chip and chase
early
for
enough.
Martino. Puck played up ice. No icing. Zanitska plays back to Ryan Walsh. And it's 3-1 Cornell, and they are 1:49 from back-to-back ECAC
That was an icing.
titles and extending Mike Schaefer's career.
Clarkson thought that should have been an icing. Trey Taylor is furious with the linesman.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this one because down here they zing it all the way down, and I don't know.
Like, you tell me who won the race.
We're talking the race to the dot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at it from an angle, so it does look like it could have been, but at the same time, they both look like
but
they
you gotta remember where the puck is too. Like, who would have got to that puck first? And they don't stop skating. It's obvious who got to the puck first.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there was just maybe 30 seconds before that, a non-call on a penalty. I think should have been a penalty. Either way, it's not to say that Clarkson would have tied the game anyway. So kudos to Cornell and to Ryan Walsh. Cornell now goes up against Michigan State in Toledo on Friday. I don't know. Like, this is a Michigan State win, you think?
I think so. I do. And that one's on Thursday. That was the 5:30 game on Thursday.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I just pulled it up to double check that I have them correct too. So
okay, so you can't write Cornell off because they beat three of the top seeds in the conference.
yeah, it would be the upset that occurs. It would be, but I mean, there's a few upsets that we could see happening, but I don't know. Trey Augustine is just playing so well right now for Michigan State.
Yeah,
I mean, Troy's going to be excited about him coming up through the system.
They better be. So that takes care of the NCAA guys. Let's quickly jump over to the Q and Loki Johansson.
Yeah, you had sent me a couple clips that I wouldn't necessarily call highlights of Loki's game.
But and there's a reason why I sent them to you. So hold off before you play them. So the Moncton Wildcats, just a juggernaut. They're on a 14-game winning streak to end of the season, or 15 games, whatever it is. Number one ranked team in the Canadian Hockey League. So Friday night they won 7-2 against Halifax. That was their 14th straight win. Johansson had an assist, was a +3, 3 shots on goal in the win. Saturday was a barn burner, back and forth. It took overtime. They won 6-5. 2 shots on goal for Johansson. Finished the season with 4 goals, 18 assists, plus 46
in 60 games.
Fifth in the league in plus minus. Must be noted, though, that the top 5 plus minuses in the QMJHL were all Moncton Wildcats.
Yeah, that
So-
kind of helps.
That helps. Now, the reason why I sent lowlights is there was, I don't want to say it went viral, but it was all over the place on a deke that Johansson made rushing up ice, and like they didn't score on it, whatever. And okay, was a nice deke. He wouldn't get away with it in the NHL. But here he is going in on a partial breakaway. Let her go, Chris.
There's a partial break. Johansson coming in, a shot. Rebound Steinman. What a right pad save. Somehow Johansson flew in from center.
You started over.
Breakaway by the tall number.
What's that?
It froze there. Can you start it over?
Oh, yeah.
There's a partial break. Johansson coming in, a shot. Rebound Steinman. What a right pad
Really
save.
cut.
Somehow Johansson
He's trying to
flew in from
turn
center. A rare
on his
breakaway
ass.
by-
That's
Yeah, and
a
I
forward there now in his spot, trying to defend. Let it go, Chris.
Oh, I
Back
see.
of the
It
net.
resulted in the goal. I was gonna say I could back it up here and slow it down a little bit. Because what you're saying is here, because he's the one on the breakaway. He takes the shot.
Yeah.
He goes to the corner to try to stop and slips and falls on his ass. Gets to
As
the
he's trying to
basically gets
turn.
to the boards. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it happens. He's working on getting back, but yeah, now you've got a 3-on-3, a 4-on-3, really, and it looks like he's just coming into frame as they score.
So show the next one.
All right. So the next one.
Johansson swings back. He'll rip it off the boards. Kept in, though, at the blue line by Kennedy. In front of the net. There it is. Russo! Oh, he robbed. Who was
Okay,
that?
that's Johansson clearing it up the boards there. Gets stopped.
Didn't get it out. The Mooseheads-
That's him looking the wrong way, trying to turn. You see it better on the first.
Yeah, I'll pull
Where
it back.
he almost falls
Yeah,
on
he
his
almost-
ass again.
Yeah, he almost falls on his ass. So a little bit of a weak attempt to clear it, but it goes right into the skater. So it's not like, how hard he hit it would really have mattered all that much. And then he gets twisted around.
No, he doesn't get twisted around, Chris. It happens frequently with him. Okay? I still believe he's going to be a player. He will be, and the Bruins believe so too. Or they wouldn't have signed him to a contract. But there are things to work on for him. Skating, turning, his edge work, those are things he needs to work on.
I was just going to say, actually, you can see, I missed it the first time through, but you can see he's on the right side, right here. He kind of kicks his leg out and turn the way. It's just the edge work.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. So, yeah, you can watch a nice, fancy little deke that he pulls off once every 12 games, or you can watch something like this every night. That night was twice that night. One, it cost him. The other one, the goalie bailed him out. And say, yeah, he's got some things that need some serious work. So that's why I wanted to point that out. There's more than just watching a 30-second clip on Twitter or X.
Or YouTube or wherever.
Or
TikTok.
YouTube or wherever. If you pay enough attention to them regularly, you begin to notice trends. And this is what I noticed with Loki. Yes, I believe he can be a player, but yes, there is some things that really he needs to work on.
Right. But to say a 19-year-old kid has stuff to work on is, I'd be worried if he was a perfect player already. Like,
Yeah.
if he was perfected as a player at this age, he would not have been a 6th-round draft pick.
Right.
So, anyways, I do like Neil's comment, though. Cordell has already been read their last rights, and they're still alive. They're a dangerous upset pick that could be a run, or that could make a run. And then Ryan also added, the Bruin scouts must get plenty of Denoyer viewings while watching Johansson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I would
Alain Bissonnette. That's the guy. That's their QMJHL scout. He's the guy that found Frederic Brunet there. So I'm sure that Alain will have a very good opinion on Denoyer when it comes to their draft meetings.
And we'll have more on Frederic Brunet in a little bit as well. So,
yeah, so let's move on to the 4 USHL guys. We'll start with Dubuque. Not a good weekend for them as they're getting prepared for the playoffs. They lost 3-1 to Madison on Thursday. Kostadinsky, if you remember last week, we talked about the hit to the head. Was not suspended, so he did play. Zeros across the board. Jonathan Morello saw his 7-game point streak come to an end. He had 2 goals and 8 assists in that streak. And Cole Spicer. We got to talk about Cole Spicer a little bit once we get through these. He was also pointless. Saturday, they couldn't generate anything really against Waterloo, lost 7-3. And Kostadinsky and Morello were both pointless. Spicer had an assist, 2 shots on goal, but was a -3. And then on Sunday, they dropped their 3rd straight to Madison, 5-3. And Spicer had an assist in that one too. I don't think we have any of the highlights from there, do we, Chris?
I have the assist for Spicer from Saturday. If you want, we can share that.
I'm trying to remember it. Share it.
I know, when you watch as much hockey as you do, only a few of them stand out. So you got them highlighted in the back defensive corner, far zone, or offensive corner, rather.
Yeah.
Side of the net, behind in the corner is Spicer. He'll work back to the top, angle on the left point, across ice for Van Vliet. Holding on right side of the net, touched in front, one-timer, they score! Josh Giuliani, the one-timer from the...
I just don't know. He's another guy that goes unnoticed, untouched, nobody near him. I realize it's a power play, but
that's exactly what the Fighting Saints needed.
Like, he's all alone.
They've kind of had a couple tough losses against rivalry teams.
He does a great job of that. He plays so well between the dots, like in the O-zone and behind the goal too. Like, he does such good work behind the goal line in the offensive zone. I really like what this kid can do. I just worry that he's not going to get a full opportunity to do it.
Yeah, he's got 28 points in 34 games. Here's the thing with Spicer. The reason I don't know what to make of him is because we don't know what he's doing next season. This is the kid that left school because of grades. Let's be honest here. And then went to development camp, and then after development camp said he was taking time off basically to get his shit together. And all of a sudden appears on Dubuque, quiet, unannounced, and here he is having himself a very good season. But we still don't know whether he wants to go back to school He still, I believe, just turned 20. Can you look up his birthday, Chris?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right here.
Sorry, no, Spicer, 21, I believe.
June 13th of 04.
So he'll be 21 in June.
Yeah.
So he's still 20. Still very young, really. But what's his plans? And that's why I'm having a difficult time. Because
So
if he doesn't go back to school, what's his options?
Well, here's my first, because he can. This is his last year where he can play in the USHL, right? Or does he have one more year?
No, this is it.
This is it. And when he was at the University of Minnesota the last 2 years, he wasn't producing. Now, I guess the question I would have is, was he not producing because the environment was more, I'm worried about my academics and I can't focus on both of these things at one time, and therefore my play on the ice is suffering? Like, if you're in an environment, a university that's meant for schooling and education first, and that's not an area of strength for you, it's a lot of stress for you when you are also trying to do something else. Now, this kid has a chance to do something that so few people are able to do and have a pro hockey career. So, and at a certain point, I sit there and go, if you're Spicer, you have to try to figure out what's your best chance to make it to the National Hockey League. And if it's not college, like you said, what is it? I would sit down with the Bruins if I'm him and say, what is the best path that you can see me getting into this team as early as I can? Because, what if you do if you're the Bruins? Do you sit there and go, here's a two-way AHL and Maine deal, work your way up? Because the kid's clearly got talent and ability. You wouldn't have taken him in the 4th round if you didn't think he could make it up. Or do you say, hey, go overseas for a year, play in Europe, and we'll see how you do over there? Like, if you're the Bruins, what are you advising him?
I don't know. Like, the thing is, the Bruins don't have a European affiliate. If you remember, a couple of years ago, they had an agreement with a team in Sweden, I believe it was, where they could loan players to. But I believe that agreement's expired, so they don't have an affiliate there. So I don't know. I'm curious what the plan is with him going forward.
Because the kid can play. The kid can play.
Yeah, he's not a top 6. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, he can be an effective bottom 6 player, more so on the 3rd line.
Yeah, he's the type of guy who can make your 3rd line have some extra points to it.
Yeah, if he can get his shit together, he could. So,
or do you look at it and go, players like him, a dime a dozen, not our problem. Go figure it out on your own.
Well, you invested in the kid, and obviously he has some issues. So you don't really want to cut bait without exhausting some type of avenue for him.
You trade him for Connor McDavid and make him Edmonton's problem.
Okay. Let's do it.
I mean, someone's going to throw that out there, right? Why does it all be us? No. I keeping an eye on his situation really tells you something about the Bruins organization as well. Because if they are working with this kid to see what his path is, and they continue to, because like you said, they have invested already in him. They know he can play. That's why they've said, hey, he wouldn't have made the jump from University of Minnesota to Dubuque without the Bruins being like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So there's a level of collaboration there.
And to a team where they already had 2 prospects.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what you tell the kid to do.
I don't know, but I'm going to be curious to see.
Pay off a low-level college to just say, don't worry about his grades, let him play.
Yeah. Although,
don't worry about his test scores. We'll take care of that.
yeah. Here's I don't know.
We'll make it believable. Don't worry. C+ is across the board.
Let's move on to Will Zellers in Green Bay. 3 straight games to Muskegon, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They lost all 3 by scores of 6-3, 6-3, 6-1. Zellers had an assist on Friday night, kept his streak going. They lost 6-3. Nothing really big to talk about. But on Saturday, he became the 15th player in the past 25 years in the USHL to score 40 goals in a season. And the only 2 who did it faster were Macklin Celebrini and Derek Roy. Again, they lost 6-3. You got the goal there, Chris. Good boy.
I do. And you've already got him circled here, so we'll play it through.
Park in the corner. Aiden Park out for Zellers. Fires. He scores.
While getting
Zellers.
Oh, getting hit. Yep.
He could rip the puck.
Goal of this season.
How is he so wide open in the middle? That's what I want.
I know. It's another guy who just.
You've got 1, 2. It looks like he's coming on from a change, maybe. But 2 guys in the corner, 2 guys here. This guy's just watching.
Park in the corner. Aiden Park out
And
for
he's just
Zellers.
right open in the slot, right on the circle.
Great goal scorers find a way, Chris. All of them. They all find a way to get open.
Fair
But
enough.
before you play the next one, you can cue it up and have it ready. We talk about how good his shot is. I'll tell you, this next goal he scored on Sunday, the backhand
We played it yesterday too.
is something that would make Dave Keon proud. And for those that are too young to know who Dave Keon was, played for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 60s and 70s. Probably one of the best backhands in the NHL in his time, in history of the NHL. Play it,
Now,
Chris.
I was going to say, on this one, you didn't get a circle around him. He's the guy right here in the middle, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
He ends up with it. Whoop, there's my cursor.
In the slot.
The offensive zone. Carcone for Zellers.
Oh.
He scores.
That was the guy that jumped over it so it could get to Zellers. Play it again.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to slow it down because it is a little bit shorter of a clip, too. Whoop. Yeah, so he jumps over the puck. Yeah, there we go. And that's a long-handed wrister, backhand wrister, too.
Just the way he torques his body and gets that off. Like that. Play it again. I got to see it again.
He's there slamming his stick, too, calling for it. Backhands around, and then he uses his own player and the guy who's back-checking as a screen to make that go in.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we now know he has a great backhand too to go along with that great shot. So
where do you see him playing next season? Oh no, he's committed to the University of North Dakota. That's what it was.
Yeah,
And that's
which brings us
back to Neil's question. Will Bradbury's firing impact Zeller's commitment to North Dakota?
I don't know. I've heard people talk about it.
He picked
I
North
don't think
Dakota
so.
for family reasons, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. But I think it would all depend on who the coach is that's coming in, and they'll have a talk and see and go from there. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, a friend of the show, Chris Davis, on his show, Drop the Mitts. Excuse me. He did an interview with Zellers not too long ago, and he asked him about his commitment to North Dakota. So I'm pretty sure that if I remember correctly, and Chris, if you're watching, please in the comments let me know if I'm remembering it incorrectly. I'm pretty sure he opted for North Dakota so that he could be closer to his family. And so if that's the reason for his commitment there, I don't see it having a major impact on his decision unless the new coach comes in and he's just like, I don't want to be here at all. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's from Minnesota, right?
Yes.
So he was looking in that central northern U.S., Minnesota, North Dakota area to go to college, to be closer for his family to be able to come and watch him play. Chris, if I'm remembering that right, please let me know in the comments if you're watching. I will go back and double check that interview, and I highly recommend it. It was a great interview done by him. Again, that was a Drop the Mitts. You can find him on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts as well. But I don't see it. I feel like his motives for going to North Dakota were more than just based on hockey. So I don't think the firing is going to have that much to do with it.
Okay, we got to move along. It's 7:30.
Real quick, Ryan says Zellers could be the shooter like Selem or Patrinin.
Yeah. Philip Svedback, we missed him. PC will be facing Denver in the Manchester Regional on Friday. I don't know. I'm going with Denver on this one.
I'm a little worried about how Svedback's going to look on that one. Although he will be rested for the game, he's not doing back-to-backs, so that might bode well for Providence.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Providence Bruins now.
PBs.
Because we got a shit ton of highlights from there. Some of them were even worth watching, but anyway, they clobbered Wilkes-Barre Scranton on Friday, 10-2.
Yes, that was a good one.
Jeffrey Vial led the way, 2 goals, 2 assists. Matt Podger had a goal and 2 assists. Oliver Wallstrom had 3 assists. Jake Gaudette had 2 goals and assist. His first 2 was Providence, I believe. Frederick Brunet had a goal and assist. Georgi Merkulov had a goal and assist. Ty Gallagher scored his first pro goal in his first pro game. And Brandon Bussey was actually great, stopping 42 of 44 shots.
Yeah, he looked good in that one.
You got the highlights, Chris?
I do, yeah.
Whip through them.
We'll whip through them. There's my cursor. We've got the first one here, which is Gaudette's goal, making it 1-0 on Friday.
Almost worked out as a pass to the side of the goal, but Riley Duran whipped it through the crease. Now Vial shot, tipped in. Bodies in front for Providence, and they'll draw first blood. Jake Gaudette with his first goal as a Bruin, and that makes it 1-0.
Jake Gaudette was just brought over in that trade, too.
Yeah. Yeah, the one for Bavaro.
Yep. Let's see. So then after that, it was a body.
Bulldog with a drop pass to Frederick Brunet. Wheels to the left. Orbits behind the net. Defenseman tries the wraparound save. Rebound put in. Abate cleans up the trash, and Providence makes it a 2-0 game with 5:43.
Boy, they changed that camera angle right on time.
I know, right? Man, they've gotten some good ones in there. And then we go back to another Gaudette highlight. This is where he makes it 3-0.
Plays it backwards. Good play to Mason Millman, though. Millman will clear it out. Now it bounces its way back up to Gaudette. Backhand shot. He scored.
That was a hell of a pass by Millman, by the way.
Gaudette with his second goal
I love
of the
Millman.
game, and the Bruins
And that was a
lead
filthy
3
backhand, too, by
39
Gaudette.
Oh, yeah.
seconds left in the frame.
And then after Gaudette, we have VL. After we get caught up on a few of these, I have a question for you regarding VL. We'll talk about him.
Counter attack, odd man rush, 2-on-1. Gaudette to the backhand, in front. VL stopped and then pushed to the back of the net.
I hate AHL TV, man.
Tried to knock it away from Jeffrey VL. Instead, he put it into his net, and that makes it 4-0 Bruins.
I gotta say, I felt bad for their goalie on that one, but
Yeah.
then after,
Both goalies on this night.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they both kind of had their work cut out for them a little bit. And then this one is
Quick face-off
Merkulov.
by Providence and a shot by Merkulov, denied by Larson. You've got Merkulov trying again, and he buries it. Early in the power play, George
I don't know.
Merkulov.
We've seen him score from that spot in a wrister a few times this season.
Well, actually, what this made me think of, when he gets the puck, we've talked about it before. No windup, minimal windup,
Yep.
just slings it right on net. How many times have we had that conversation?
A lot.
And then up next, we have, this one is Brunet to make it 7-1.
Get across the blue line, now ahead to Fraser Minton. Minton weaves his way to the left. Shot off of a skate and in. As Larson ends up with a Bruin right on top of him. But you go to the net, good things happen. The contact with the Penguins netminder after the puck had already gone in, that is doing nothing.
That's Brunet on the ice, landed on top of him.
Yep. Actually, I just realized that there was one that we missed. The 6-1 goal scored by Ty Gallagher.
Bears at Excel Center 3-3.
Right off the draw, too.
Shot goes off of Larson's glove and in, right off the face-off. And that is technically a shorthanded goal for Providence as well. Well,
They lied. It was a power
penalty to Rucker McCrory,
play goal.
but he's left the
I loved his reaction, though. He knew it was
So
in,
that'd be
like,
a
right when
power
he
play
shot
goal
it.
for Providence.
That was so quick right off the
Yeah,
draw.
guess who got the puck for him? Guess
Crap,
who
I
got the
remember
puck
hearing who
for
it
him?
was. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oliver
Was it
Wahlstrom.
Quadra? Oh, it was Wallstrom. Okay.
Oliver Wahlstrom. And they were so happy
right.
for him, you could tell when he scored.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then this one, VL is making it 8-1.
Pulls the trigger, save Murashov, rebound off of his pads. Now another try finds its way in. Brett Harrison from the left wall puts it past Sergei Murashov.
I think they ended up
Wasn't-
crediting it to VL.
Yeah, it wasn't
The
Harrison's goal.
score is 8-1.
Because I think it deflected off of VL right in front.
Harrison did score, though. But that wasn't it. I think his made it 10.
He scored on Saturday.
He scored Friday, too. I just didn't clip it because it was...
I mean, we'll talk about Harrison after. But, okay, the next one I have is Matty Poitras on Poitras makes it 9-1 on Friday, right here.
These are saying play on. Now charging the other way is Poitras. Poitras behind Hayes. Shot, score. Well, I don't think Bussy's all that upset that they didn't blow the whistle now. 9-1.
Yeah, Bussy was mad because his strap came... his strap came loose on his mask, and the ref wouldn't stop the play.
Yeah, well, then that happens, and he's got plenty of time to fix it. So I'm sure, as he said on the broadcast, he's probably not all that upset about it. So,
Yeah. So
let's
on
play-
Saturday,
Yep.
they won 3-1 against Lee Valley. Poitras scored twice. Brett Harrison had the game-winning goal, and DiPietro stopped 28-29 for the win. There's one I would really want to show the empty net goal. I don't like showing empty net goals, but I clipped this one for a reason. But this is Poitras scoring the first one.
He's in those spots that we see a guy like Cole Spicer find.
Yeah. And he's playing the bumper there.
Yep.
Which is something new for him.
Which is yet another reason why he's down in Providence, because he's getting these opportunities in Providence. He's succeeding, but he'll be able to bring this back up to the NHL next season when he joins the club, probably full-time. I think he'll be there full-time next year.
We'll see. Depends on who they bring in.
That's true. That's true. This is the Harrison goal to make it 2-0.
That's Harrison coming in late. He actually beats 2 skaters in there, which is surprising.
He's got such a good shot, too.
Yeah, go to the Poitras one. I don't care about the goal. It's what happens after the goal.
This one here.
And Ethan Sampson trying to kill a goal. Oh, an empty netter. That's Poitras from the left boards.
He's not taking any shit down there.
Poitras with Ethan Sampson, Garrett Wilson, and Anoya, and Belpedio.
Like the powwows?
Yes, I love it.
Empty net goal is second goal of the game for Matthew Poitras, and it is 3-0 Providence. And boy, we're not done yet.
Oh, man. He is not taking any shit down there.
Nope.
Good for him, though.
Yeah. But that's Matty Poitras.
He came up a little bit yesterday in the show. Where do you stand now on Brett Harrison? Where do you think his future lies with the team going forward at this point?
So he's got another year left on his contract, his ELC, I believe.
I'm double checking. That sounds about right. Yes, next year is the final year, and he'll be 22.
Here's the thing, Chris. When you watched him in the rookie tournament, you watched him in camp, rookie camp, you watched him at main camp, you watched him in exhibition games, it looked like he was turning a corner and things were going to happen for him. Then all of a sudden, the AHL season starts. And
poof.
Poof. He's played in 40 games, has 5 goals, 8 assists.
Do you think, let me ask you something, though.
Okay.
Do you think some of that production is because they know he can score? He's got the shot that they know he can score. That they're saying, work on these other things in your game, and hoping that they end up with what ends up amounting to be a fully rounded player once all the puzzle pieces get put together, if that makes sense.
Can I give you a long-winded answer?
Yeah, I've got time. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. I can accept that as, I don't want to use the word excuse. What's the word I want to use? I can use
logic.
You can use that logic when it comes to Fabian Lysell and why his production isn't where it's expected. Because if you watched him in the last couple of games at the NHL level, it's safe to say that he was one of their top 3 forwards.
Lysell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, given the roster, that's also not a large leap either.
Right. But it's a start for him, right?
Yes, and it's
So
building blocks.
I hear the complaints that he's spending too much time high in the offensive zone or out towards the blue line. Okay, but that's not a Lysell thing or a Lysell thing. That's the Bruins system. That's what they wanted him to learn. Okay, when it comes to Brett Harrison, Brett Harrison knows those things. He's Fabian Lysell had to learn it. Brett Harrison did those things back in junior, so he understands it. He knows the issue with Brett Harrison has always been competitiveness, heart, and work ethic. Those are the three things that hold him back because he's got the IQ. He certainly has an NHL shot. He's had an NHL shot since junior. And he has the playmaking ability. He just doesn't put the effort to get to where he needs to be. If he ever puts it all together, he'll be an NHL player. How's that for an answer?
No, it makes sense. I guess the question becomes, so does he have the ability to get there, or is this where he's at? Is this the highest level of compete factor that he has? Is it, just because he knows where to go, does he care enough to get there?
My opinion
That's what for
is even a year before the Bruins drafted him, I wanted the Bruins to draft him. Okay? Because I'd watched the kid in under 17s and under 18s, and I knew he had talent. Then the COVID year happened. He had to go overseas to play. Okay? And I thought, okay, maybe he's getting it. Maybe he knows he's got to put in the effort, and he goes to play. Gets drafted because this guy had first round talent, but then the OHL returns the year after. Yeah, he's getting the points, he's getting the goals, all that stuff. And while people are showing, and I talked to you about this before you went to development camp, and what did I say to you when you go to
which year?
his first one?
His first one was about his effort, his
right,
his ability to take or give a hit, his physicality.
Right. So while people were showing highlights of his one-timers, I was showing highlights of him going into a corner and doing a flyby and trying to do a stick check at the same time, as opposed to going in and making body contact, because he's got the size to win those puck battles.
Yeah, 6'2", almost 200. He's a beefy boy, big body, beefy boy.
So it's been lacking. There are times where you see that it's there, but those times are too few and too rare. So I don't know. Can something click? When he gets into the final year in his contract, it better click, or he's going to find himself over in Europe.
That's what I was just going to say. I worry. What I worry about is him being a contract player, if that makes sense. Playing for the contract is the only way he's going to be desperate enough to make those hits, to show what he actually has, to get to his ceiling constantly. If you give him, how many times do we hear about it? Oh, so-and-so got their paycheck, stopped caring, and they fucked off. They got their money, and they just aren't the same player anymore.
Yeah, because...
Well, right now he's on the second year of a 3-year entry-level contract. Next year will be the final year of his entry-level contract. He's playing for his next paycheck. So that means if next year he comes out and he does everything that we're looking for him, and he looks like he did when he was with the Spitfires and he was with the Oshawa Generals, and production is there and the physicality is there, I don't need to see, 70-point season in the American Hockey League, but he's had, 14 last year. He's projected for about little less than 20 this year. It's not been drastic growth either. So if all of a sudden next year he's having a 30-point season, I don't know, man.
His potential, if he hits his ceiling and he puts in the work and the effort on a nightly basis, he could be what Morgan Geekie is right now.
Yeah, if not, well, maybe even a little bit better, because his shot's probably a little bit better than Geekie's, in my opinion. Or at least has the ability to get there if he can fine-tune it at an NHL level.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing. You know what happens if I'm on a job interview and they say, hey, you have the potential to earn this amount? You know what I look back at them and say? I can't cut a check with potential.
Yeah.
So, potential doesn't pay my bills. So potential doesn't score the goals. He's actually got to go out and do it.
Yeah. And it's too bad because there's a lot of wasted talent there.
I really can see him getting to the end of restricted free agency twice, because he does it he'll do it next year. They'll say, all right, fine, we'll give you a qualifying offer. He does it again. Same thing, produces again. You know what I mean? Like, he'll just do that up until the point where he hits unrestricted free agency or becomes a Group 6 unrestricted free agent or whatever, and that's when they go, we're not just going to keep doing 1-year contracts for you.
No, but I also think that, the last few games he's been better. And I'm wondering if he's looking at the big club and what's happening in Boston on left wing, because the vast majority of his time in Providence has been on left wing. He's played very little center.
Well,
and I'm wondering if he's looking at it and saying, hey, there's opportunities there for me.
That's another valid point too, because his entire tenure here too. I mean, you've had Marchand, Geekie, you've had other guys higher than him in the pecking order on the left side, Merkulov. He's not their first name that they're going to call up.
Yeah.
So there's been a little bit of the mindset maybe of, if I don't have a shot here, get through my contract and try and get in somewhere else.
And it's too bad because he had a very good preseason. Very good preseason.
I will say this, though. If you're right, if he is looking at the NHL level and going, okay, now there's a path, he's got to have a killer Calder Cup playoff.
Yeah.
And then he's got to come into camp. He's another one that's got to stay in town, bust his ass over the summer. I know he's already almost 200, but he's got to pack on some extra muscle so that he can fight those battles at an NHL level, and he's got to come into camp next year and say, look, it's the final year of my ELC. You've opened up a spot, and it's mine.
We'll see if he has it in him. We'll see. I wouldn't put any money on it.
Oh, God.
And, people say we sing the praises of their prospects. We don't. Here's an open, honest conversation about a player that we really had nothing good to say about him other than the potential is there. He just doesn't want it.
And if he does want it, he's not doing a good job of showing it. So my
Right.
message to him would be, you've got the ability, you've got the talent, you've got the opening. Go fucking do it. It's
Yep.
on you. At this point, it's completely on him. Go do it, and it'll work. The opportunity is there. He's got the ability to do it. The only reason for his failure now is because of himself.
Yeah. Now, let's do a quick thing before we sign off.
I did have
I'll
one other question for you, but we'll do your thing first.
No, make your question first.
We
We'll
talked a little
sign-
bit about him. What's that?
Yeah. We'll sign off with mine. May I ask your question?
Sure. Next season, you have Jeffrey VL under contract, $775,000.
Yeah.
All right. This season, you have, where is he? I'm trying to find. You have John Beecher under contract for $925,000.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Jeffrey VL on your left wing on your fourth line next year, or John Beecher?
Is that a serious question?
I'm asking you.
I don't want John Beecher on the left wing right now. So there you go.
So do you make John Beecher a qualifying offer, or is that now Jeffrey VL's spot?
If he'll sign his qualifying offer, he can come back and try and earn a roster spot. Because his qualifying offer, I believe, is $874,000 and change.
It would be a lower paycheck than the
Yeah.
$925 he's on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I believe it's $870. Are you on Puckpedia?
I am, yeah. Actually, don't they have a
Yeah. If you click on his name, come up to his contract details, it'll tell you what his qualifying offer is. Or I could open up my own damn file here. And
qualifying offer? Yeah, 174, 125.
874.
I'm sorry, 874, 125.
So I was
we'll round that to 875.
okay. So here's the little thing we'll do. And I don't care whether they're under contract or not. You can cut the player loose, whatever.
So contract notwithstanding.
Contract notwithstanding.
Okay.
I gotta name the player, and you're gonna say either yes or no, and then I'll say yes or no as
About
to
bringing them back.
whether we want them back. That's why we're forgetting the contract details.
Whether we want them back. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why we're forgetting the contract details.
Okay.
And we're only going to do the Providence guys. Georgi Merkulov.
I want him back.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Vinny Lettieri.
Yes.
Yes. Patrick Brown.
Yes.
Yes. Tyler Pitlick.
Yes.
Yes. Riley Tufte.
Yes. But I wouldn't be upset if he
No.
didn't come back.
Fabian Lysell.
Yes.
Yes. John Farinacci.
Yes.
Yes. Jeffrey Vial.
Yes.
Yes. Ian Mitchell.
Yeah, no.
Well, he's in Boston now, but
I would say yes, because right now you're so limited in your depth chart. He has the NHL experience. I say no because I want to know what the other side of my right side is going to look like.
okay. But we don't want
So,
explanations. We just want a yes or no.
Right now, yes.
No. Frederic Brunet.
Yes.
Yes. Riley Duran.
Yes. Actually,
Yes.
take Ian Mitchell off my yes list. Put him as a no.
Brett Harrison.
Yes.
Yes. Mason Millman, even though he
Yes.
doesn't have an NHL
Yes,
contract.
absolutely.
Yes. Oliver Wahlstrom.
I'm going to say yes.
No. Billy Sweezy.
He's on the right side. I would say no.
No. Joseph Abadi or Joey?
No.
No. Mike Callahan?
Yes.
Yes. Trevor Kuntar?
Yes.
Yes. Jackson Edward?
Yes.
Yes. Jake Gaudette?
Yeah, I like what I've seen from him. Yes.
Yes. Fraser Minton?
Absolutely.
Ryan Mast?
No.
No. Jackson Nelson?
Yes.
No. Chris Ortiz?
Actually, Nelson, no. He's a no. I was confusing him with someone else. Chris Ortiz, I'm a yes on.
No. Max Wanner?
Yes.
Yes. Ty Gallagher?
Absolutely.
Yes. Michael DiPietro?
If he'll come back, yes.
Yes. Brandon Bussey?
No.
I haven't decided on him.
If I have to decide right now, I'm a no on Bussey. I'm a yes on DiPietro.
Okay, I'm with you on that. But for me, it depends on what goalie am I bringing in this offseason.
Now, the reason why I said yes on Wahlstrom is because I think the time in Providence is helping his game overall. And if you can tap into what got him to be a first-round pick, I think you have something there. He's still a little bit of a reclamation project, in my opinion. But if he's going to be in Providence, I don't have a problem with that.
Fair enough.
Who was the other one? Jackson Nelson, I said no on as well.
I think we pretty much agreed on all of them.
Were you a yes or no on Ryan Mast?
I was a no.
Okay, that was one.
And I'll tell you why. Ryan Mast, over the years, has modeled his game after Brandon Carlo. Completely. He is a Brandon Carlo with maybe half an ounce more offense. When the Bruins drafted him, I thought it was great, blah, 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 blah. My question with him always was, or my statement always was, that his offense will not translate to the pro game. The Bruins decided that Brandon Carlo isn't the type of defenseman that they want. So why, if that's the thinking, then why do I want Ryan Mast?
Right. Now, I think the other one that we were off on was Billy Sweezy.
Yeah, I'm hoping. There's a little bit of a logjam in Providence right now when it comes to defensemen, and I'm hoping there's a couple more on the way. Yeah, he'd be great there to help teach.
Well, to your point, who else is on the way right now? If I have to decide right now, I'd rather have him there and be able to cut him at camp.
In free agency, like, who are you getting? Like, I don't mean NHL players. Like,
because right now your right side would be Bavaro. Would entail Gallagher, Bavaro.
Bavaro's gone.
Or not Bavaro. Gallagher. And we also didn't include Mirenberg, by the way.
Yeah. So. But he's not he's not really with Providence. Right now, your right side is Ortiz, Mast, Sweezy, Wanner, and Gallagher. Okay, if you want Wanner there, you want Gallagher there.
You only got obviously one or two more.
Obviously, Mast is under contract, so he's going to be there. And so is Sweezy. There's 4 on the right side right there. Yeah. And you got Ortiz on a PTO. There isn't a lot of room. Like,
And we've already had the conversation a couple times this year. Are there veteran guys blocking paths for some of the younger guys?
Yeah. Let's say there's a Group 6 UFA that you go like Callahan is a Group 6 UFA. Let's say Edmonton's got a Group 6 UFA. You would go out and sign them, and you put them in Providence. They're waiver exempt. And now, once you sign them, they become RFA once that contract expires, not UFA again. If you're blocked, you don't have the opportunity to go after these players because where are you going to put them?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in that regard, yeah, I'm not married to the idea of keeping Sweezy around. I do like the idea of having him around, like you said, as someone who can help out. But if you bring back a Patrick Brown, which I thought was hilarious that we were both in on that one together, because that one's going to go over so well in Bruins fan base.
Yeah, but you need guys like that in Providence.
Know. See, Patrick Brown to me is the kind of guy that I look at and say, can he help Wahlstrom find his game down in Providence?
Yes.
Because Patrick Brown, I guarantee you, it's even happening now at the NHL level. There's a reason why Patrick Brown is still on the team. He knows Fabian Lysell from having played with him in Providence for so long as a line mate. I guarantee you after the last game, Lysell and Brown were in touch with each other talking about Lysell's game.
Probably. I would put money on it.
So he has a purpose. And what's going to be hilarious is when the graphic goes out from Bruins on social media that says the Boston Bruins have agreed to a 1 or 2 year contract with Patrick Brown. And everyone sits there and goes, why the fuck are we signing him? Blah, blah. It's going to be hilarious.
But the majority of fans don't care about Providence. They don't. They look at the NHL roster and it's like, why do we need him? You don't. You need him in Providence to teach these young players.
And honestly, the best part about Patrick Brown is he's going to get through waivers every damn time.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so valuable. So, the funny thing is we could do the exact same exercise with the NHL club now.
Yeah, well, we'll
that's
do that
so different.
Monday.
We'll have to do that one next week.
Yeah, because it's past the 8 o'clock hour, and
yeah, I was just going to ask you if you have any other final thoughts as we wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Little light on the questions and comments tonight, but I know it's a prospect, so people don't always know what to ask.
All I know is I've got to go have supper.
Yeah, I got to go eat something myself. So with
I haven't eaten since noon.
Oh boy. Well, go take care of yourself. And my last thought, as always, is go Bees.
Go Bees. Get that higher draft pick.